So we've got 325 million acres in this country of annual cropping. 325 million acres is over 100 times the size of this state of Connecticut. If we do some math real quick, say 325 million acres, if we increase soil carbon by 1% in the top 6-inch profile with 20,000 pounds of carbon itself per acre. Now, CO2, we're talking about climate change, so you take the molecular weight, so you take the carbon itself, and 20,000 pounds divided by 0.37 equates to X pounds of CO2. Okay? So every time we increase our organic content in our soil by improving our soil health, we can actually sequester, let's say if we did it on the whole country, which is going to be a long, long way down the road, we're only 1.5% cover crops right now, we can sequester hundreds of thousands of tons per year of CO2. The number is like, I think it was like 10.2 thousand million tons per percent increase organic content of CO2. Number is big enough where our brains can't wrap around it. 10.2 times 10 to the 14th or something crazy. And working in that thought process, like I said earlier, at the end of this talk, you're going to be both pissed off and frustrated. If you fly across the country and look down in the winter or in the spring or in the fall and you see bare soil, you know that you're losing that carbon. And if carbon is the most limiting nutrient, we have to chase it with synthetic inputs. Okay? So we're mining phosphorus out of Florida and Madagascar, etc. And we're bringing this nutrient over the country to grow grain crops. Now, phosphorus is important as a macronutrient because it's the cell wall of the plant has got phospholipids. Okay? And it's congregated in the grain itself. So we mine it in Florida, we ship it, which takes diesel fuel, to the Midwest and apply it, which takes fuel, and grow a crop. And then we harvest that grain and then ship it to the East Coast and the West Coast where animal agriculture is, because most of the grain grown in this country goes to animal ag. It goes to cows, and it goes to pigs, and it goes to chickens. And the animals eat these crops and then grow more animals, and 90-95% of that phosphorus comes out the back end of that animal. What do we do with the phosphorus then?
Throw it away.
Huh?
Throw it away.
We apply it on crop fields in this area, right? Or it leaches into our water bodies. So the soils in Connecticut, and I hate to say this, are almost unilaterally excessive in phosphorus. Not all of them, but if it's a historic farm with animal ag, you're going to be high in P, which is phosphorus. So if you use the Mehlich 3 soil testing method, you want to see between 15 and 30 pounds per acre in the top 6-inch profile of available P2O5, which is phosphorus. I've seen soil tests come back on some farms where it's 700. Okay, over 150 becomes water soluble. Over 200 shuts down those mycorrhizae. So if we grow corn on that field, which is the most demanding for phosphorus, the recommendation from us to the farmer is, you will apply no phosphorus. Your children will apply no phosphorus. Their children will apply no phosphorus. At that point, reassess. 150 years, plus or minus, of no phosphorus input. And remember, this is a limiting nutrient in the West. Just to exhaust and export out. But here's the kicker. If you're growing cows, what do you do with the manure? You got to put it down somewhere, right? So if you're looking at your garden, now this is we're gardeners here tonight, and you're getting composted manure, which is fantastic, by the way, and you put it down on your garden bed. Think about the phosphorus. Remember, over 150 pounds becomes water soluble. That was a water quality concern. Over 200 pounds starts to shut down your mycorrhizae. So here's something for you. So let's say we take the average compost, which is horse manure or dairy manure. If you get poultry manure, it's about 2.5 times higher in phosphorus than dairy manure, and dairy manure is slightly higher than horse manure. So if you take the average, which is horse manure, and you apply it at the average rate, let's say it's a 1/4 inch on your garden bed. Courage! And you do that for 3 or 4 years, your phosphorus level can exceed 1,500 pounds per acre, which is off the charts high. Okay, 100 times higher than it needs to be. So when you're using your compost on your garden beds, it's really, really important to treat it like an amendment. It's great and it's organic and it's awesome and it does great things for the soil, but you can shut down the system with it. And once you shut down the system, you're going to start to see deficiencies in other nutrients. Because one nutrient will displace another. The aluminum will displace calcium. Okay? And phosphorus will shut down your mycorrhizae, which will reduce water uptake, which will reduce other micronutrients. And the reason it shuts down the mycorrhizae is the plant basically trades those polysaccharides, those sugars, for phosphorus. Remember, it's a macronutrient. If it can get it for free because it's so available in the soil, why would the plant associate with fungus? You know, why? There's no benefit. The same thing goes with other microorganisms. You can short circuit the rhizosphere with excessive fertilization. You can start to shut down those microbes with excessive nitrogen. Because why would the plant trade sugars, if it doesn't have to? A plant will trade off in a beneficial system over 50% of its photosynthetic activity to feed the microbes. And that's a balanced system. Is it the absolute best for crop production? Probably not. If you over-fertilize the crap out of it, you're probably going to get more crops, hands down. But there's diminishing returns. And we're seeing higher crop yields now across this country than we have in the past. But if you take a look at, if you chart the crop yields versus the inputs have gone up 300%, and crop yields have come up 50%. So we're putting down more nutrient, and more nutrient, and more nutrient. The plants are responding to a point, but where is the excess going? I mean, there's a reason there's a dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico. There's a reason Chesapeake Bay is dying. And look at Long Island Sound, the same thing, hypoxia, algal blooms, etc. We're harvesting sunlight, ancient sunlight, which is, we're talking natural gas and diesel, to convert nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen, into a chemical fertilizer, to pollute our waters. And the point tonight is there's a better way. We can do it without doing it excessively.